Okay, what we have here is we have a F-16 simulation. We currently are in a scenario where we're situated over Edwards Air Force Base, and we're going to run a scenario, a simulated bombing scenario on a target at Edwards itself. What you see on the F-16 cockpit here, this is the air-to-ground radar and this is the target pod. Those images are generated by data that's coming from MetaVR's database. So MetaVR Train database, which is a three-dimensional database of elevation points that a photograph is laid on top of. We can use those points to then generate simulated air-to-ground radar and target pod video. On a bombing run such as this, would bring up an FCR to get a good look at the ground. This is what he would use, this display, to identify his targets. And then he would go over to the target pod, select his actual target, and then fly the mission and release his ordnance. Using the target pod, I can zoom in on a target, and let's say I want to take out this cargo plane. There I have an aim point. And now I'm going to fly down, get on my line. This line is my bombing line. And my flight path marker here, I'm going to fly to get right on my flight path marker. And the square that's underneath the flight path marker is an indication of where we want to go, what we want to hit. Bombs away. I'm flying over there, and that was my explosion. And there's the visual image of the field that we just went in and dropped a bomb on.
Aero-TV is brought to you by...
Okay, we are cleared for our approach. Have our Garmin GPS set up to fly the LPV. And look, here comes the glide path. Now, you're probably wondering how we can intercept a glide path when there's no ILS on the field. Well, hey, that's the beauty of WAS GPS. No ILS, no localizer, no problem. WAS gives us full vertical guidance even without ground-based navigation. Okay, next you're probably wondering why there's spit all over your side of the windshield.
GW, just watched a bombing scenario on an F-16 sim with networking capability, something that can literally, though, be thrown in a box, packed up, and put in the field, so somebody in the morning can fly the mission they've got to fly for real in the afternoon. How'd you come up with this?
We came up with this product as a result of looking for a way to give the Air Force, the services, a way to do exactly what you said, to deploy a training system that didn't necessarily need to look pretty, but had to be functional. It had to be functional and available to the troops at the site where they need to use the system. So this system allows us to switch from one airplane to another very quickly. We'll switch from an F-22 into an F-35 aircraft, into an F-16, then we'll get out of that into an F-18 aircraft, then into an F-15, and finally into an MH-60 helicopter. Our CVA system allows that switching to be done in near real time while the scenario and the simulation continues to run. It seemed like a good idea to make it hardened so that they could put it on a truck, put it on a boat, and it really needed to be an off-the-shelf solution that was easy to maintain, in addition to the general capabilities of the simulator.
What's the feedback from the field?
The feedback is great. Everyone that comes here says, wow, I can't believe that we didn't think about something like this ourselves. The users are very happy with it. The U.S. Air Force Test Pilot School is probably one of our biggest proponents of the unit. They use the device for multiple airplanes, F-16s, F-22s, F-15s as well.
So this is a device that can be configured to a number of platforms?
Absolutely. We can change the stick and throttle used to control the different airplanes on the fly. And it's a matter of seconds switching from airplane to airplane. So the way the Test Pilot School uses the unit is to evaluate pilots' ability to use different generations of airplanes. F-16s, as you know, are 30 years old. F-22s, for example, are brand new. They have a lot of different capabilities and a lot of different systems that need to be learned by pilots.
Aero-TV is brought to you by... Cirrus aircraft have always been easy to fly. Now they're easier than ever to buy. A complete line of ownership programs gives you everything you need to purchase, trade, finance, lease, insure, and warranty your Cirrus. There's even an ownership program for non-pilots. The Cirrus Access Pilot can teach you how to fly, or fly the plane for you. Find out more at www.cirrusdesign.com. Cirrus, with a love of flying.
The folks at Edwards, that's a pretty discriminating group. That's a tough group to impress.
It was. Our customer was very involved in the creation of the software that runs on the system to make sure that it was not distracting to the pilots they were trying to test. And I think all the feedback we got from them is very positive.
And tell me a little bit about Zedasoft. What else do you do? What created this company?
Zedasoft is a software company. We started life as a services company, creating simulation systems for the large defense contractors. We saw a need for a more reliable simulation system, and we felt like Java was a language that had come into its own, that it was fully capable of supporting a rock-solid simulation system. We created our container-based architecture with Java as a prototype, did a lot of risk reduction tests to make sure that it would run fast enough, and we put the software in use back in 2002 for Lockheed Martin on the F-22 program.
GW, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much.